Uh, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So let's start creating the scenario that we discussed earlier. So first of all, we need to create a virtual uh, network, VN, and so there's no virtual network at the moment. So I will create a new. So I will select the resource group since there is no resource group there. So I will create a new resource group, CS demo virtual net, and I would be creating it in East Asia. Okay, right. So now I need to provide the name of my virtual network. So VNet East Asia. Okay. So this is my region where I want to create. This is the perfect region you can see here. So let's go next. I will not be changing any of these settings. Not required at the moment. So let's move next. And if you remember, the IP address range or the block that we assigned to our virtual network is 10.0.0.0/16. So it has also given me a default subnet. I will delete it because we will create one later on. Next, next. So it's running final validation at the moment, Azure. So let's wait for the validation. Yeah, so the validation has passed. So let's create this virtual network. So it's submitting deployment. Deployment is in progress. Let's wait for its completion. Hmm. Okay, so deployment is complete. So we can check in virtual networks. Right. Yeah, so you can see our virtual network, VNet East Asia has been created, and the resource group is this. So I will click on this virtual network, and I have to create two subnets in this virtual network, one private and the other public. So let's create the first subnet here. I will go to this setting option here in this virtual network, and here I will create a new subnet, and the name of the subnet is CN demo. So I want to keep this subnet public. East Asia. Okay. So I want my IP addresses to start from 10.0.1.0 in this range. Again, for that we have to refer to the diagram that we discussed earlier. So in virtual network, the address range of our private subnet was from 10.0.0 .1.0 with cyber 24, and the other subnet, the private subnet was we tried to identify it from 10.0.1 or 2.0. Okay, so there we go. Yes, I do not need to do anything else at the moment, so I will add this subnet. So okay, the subnet has been added successfully. You can see here it will start from 10.0.1.0 with CIDR 24. I will add another, and I would like this subnet to be private. Okay, CM demo private subnet. in East Asia. Okay. So, and I want this subnet to, the IP addresses in this subnet to start from 2.0, and the side is the same, 44. Okay. So, let's move on and, yeah, add this subnet as well. So, yeah. So the subnet has been added successfully. Now, I will close this, and the next step is to create virtual, without going to the virtual machines, we have to create routes. Okay, so routing tables. So we need to create route tables. I'll go here and I'll create a new route table here. Okay, so I'll create one first. So I will create one route table for public subnet and one route table for private subnet. So from here, this is my subscription, Azure for students, and I will select my resource code that I've just created, which is CN demo VNet East Asia. Okay. Okay. So and the region is, we will select Asia from here. No, it's not here. East Asia. And the name of the route table is CN demo. I want this. I want to create this route table for, so public route table East Asia. Okay. So it's good to go. But next. It's running binary validation. Let's wait for the completion. So let's create okay. So it's been created. Okay, I'll go again to this route table and create another route table. One should be already here. Yeah. So as for the public, I'll create one for the private subnet as well. So I'll use the CN demo VNet East Asia, and yeah, here my region is East Asia, and the name is CN demo private route table in East Asia. Okay. So next is running final validation. Okay, so it's initializing deployment. Let's wait for the deployment. Okay, okay. So if I go back to this route table, in route tables I can see two tables. So the other should also be here. Okay, here it is. So one is public route table, and the other is private table route table. And now I need to associate these public and private route table to public subnet and private subnet respectively. So I will select this first route table, which is public, and I'll go in the setting tab to subnets. So you can see there's no subnet associated with this route table, or this route table is not associated with any subnet. So I will associate this route table to, which is my yeah this virtual network, and I will be associating with demo public. Okay. Yeah. So you can see now this route table has been associated with the public subnet. So I will do the same for the second subnet, which is private subnet route table, and I'll go to this route table, and again I'll go to subnet, and in this subnet I will associate this route table with my private subnet. So here is my virtual network, which is VNet East Asia in CMDemo VNet East Asia. So let's create this association. So you can see the association has been created. So now if I want my virtual machine to be accessible from the outside of my virtual network, for that I need to go to this public route table, and here I need to define a route so that using this route machines can connect to my virtual machine in my virtual network. Obviously, public subnet of my virtual network. So I'll add a route here. So I call it internet, because using internet, any machine can connect to my virtual machine. Destination address type is an IP address, and now here I can specify the destination IP address. I mean the IP address of the machine that can connect to me, since I will be deploying a server here, HTTP server here. So and I want it to be accessible for any machine. So I have given this destination IP address 0.0.0.0/0. This means any machine having any IP address can access my virtual machine in the public subnet. So the next hop track is internet. So I'll add it here. So now I have defined a route in this route table. Okay, so the next thing is to create a virtual machine. So let's do it. So first I will deploy a virtual machine inside my public subnet. So let's create virtual machine. Okay, so here my group is CM demo VNet East Asia. Okay, and my machine type is public VM. I want to create a public virtual machine. I mean a virtual machine in the public subnet. And the region is East Asia, and the zone is, let's say, let me try first with zone 3. So I'll be creating a virtual machine which is a Ubuntu server, 24.04 LTS, 64-bit. So you can select any machine from here. So yeah, and here the authentication, the username is important, because we have to use this username. The username is Azure user. You can change it. I will use it as it is. And here I will be generating SSH public key here. I'm using the option here is generate new key. I can also use existing key, but I will generate a new one here. So let's move on. Yeah, so next is the disk. I will not be changing anything in the disk space. OS disk size is 30 GB, so I will not change it. So let's move on. I want to do some changes in networking tab. So let's see. So here, this is my virtual machine, virtual network, VNet dash east Asia, and then this is my subnet. This is my public subnet, of course. And here, because I've won my virtual machine in the public network to be accessible outside the network, I mean my virtual network. So that's why I have selected here public VM IP. So it will generate a new IP, and this is my inbound port. So this is basically the NSG, which is network security group. So where I'm running SSH on port 22. So I'll move on. I don't need to change anything else. So let's monitoring. I don't want to create any alerts, anything. Let's move on. Uh, I don't want to add any tags. Let's submit this for review. So this virtual machine is under review. So when the review is validation has passed, yes, it has passed. Now I will create it, and key will be generated by Azure. So let me review this. Subscription is this, resource scope is this, public VM, everything seems fine to me. Let's create this virtual machine in my public subnet. So this is my private key. Um, so download my private key and create resource. Okay, so here I download my private key. So let me delete any previous keys I have generated keys earlier as well. So let me delete those keys so that there should not be any overlapping and confusion. So the name of my key is public by -vm underscore key dot pan. So save as. I'll save it in my downloads folder. Here it goes. Okay, the keys have been downloaded, and um, the deployment is complete. Okay, so uh, so let's go to my virtual machine dashboard, and here you can see that my virtual machine is up and running here on its IP address is 104.214.186.104. So I'll click this. Uh, I will click this virtual machine, and I will connect this virtual machine. I will click connect, and I will try to see the options here. So here is my IP address. Okay, so here is the command that I will use to connect to my virtual machine. So now I will go to my show. So here is my command that I copied from Azure, and I will here give the name of the path to the file. So the name of the key is, let us check the name of the key once again. So the name of the key is public dash VM. Okay, so go back to this PowerShell. Public dash VM, there you are, and attempted. So yes. So you can see that we have connected to our we have connected to our public public subnet. So now I will install I can configure a very lightweight HTTP server here, so that I can also check it while trying to access it from or using my internet browser. So let me install quickly on this virtual machine HTTP server. So sudo superuser HTTP update. Let me update it. It's being updated. Then I will install NGINX. Okay. So now again I will use this command. So to apt install NGINX. So we write it like NGIN. So we pronounce it engine or read it NGINX. Uh, so this will install an HTTP server. So let's wait for the installation to finish. Okay, here we go. Then I need to start it, and then I need to enable this internet. So let's start it. So for that, I will use this command system ctl start start. Yes. Okay, so it has started. So again, I need to enable it. So I will enable sudo system ctl enable engine X. Okay, so this has been enabled. So if I try to access, if I copy this address from here, this is my public IP 102.214.186.144. If I copy it from here and paste it here, yes, it will not be able to access it. Why? Because in my, if you remember, in my network security group, I have only provisioned uh, the the SSH, right? So if I want it to be accessible over HTTP or TCP on port 80, I need to add another rule. So I will go here again. See, I'm in my. So let me explain it to you again. So I will again go to this public virtual machine, and in this public virtual machine, I will go to this in settings. I will go to sorry in networking. I will go to this network settings, and in network settings here in rules I will add create and add a new rule, and that found port rule, right? Obviously I'm trying to allow what type of traffic I can enter into my network, and you can see here we already allowed this SSH on port 22. So okay, let's create a new inbound rule. So this inbound rule is from any source, from any port. Destination is also any, right? And here I want to allow HTTP and it's over TCP. And allow, I will decrease, I will, have it 100. And I will say allow, write a name, define it, this rule. Renaming it allow hyphen HTTP. Okay, so now I'll click that, and a new rule will be added into my virtual machine. So I'll go, if I go again here, and so you can see uh, welcome message from NGINX. Welcome to NGINX. So this again shows that now my public virtual machine is accessible from outside my virtual network. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll um, I'll try to see how I can access a virtual machine in a private network. So through jump, I mean through basically using two ways. One is through a jump host in which I will try to access my virtual machine in private subnet using my virtual machine in public subnet. So first of all, let me create another virtual machine here. So again, my group is Same Demo VNet East Asia. There we go. And this is a private VNet that I'll be creating in my private virtual subnet. And this one is free. I will select one zone because I'll create one copy only. So this is okay. Username I know. Select public key and then next. I don't want to make any changes here, so that's next. Here, this is important. We need to make some changes here. First of all, I will be creating this virtual machine not in the public subnet, but in private subnet, which starts where the IP address starts from 10 dot 0 dot 2 dot 0 slash 24. Okay. So, and I don't want to give any IP address to this machine, so I select none because I don't want um, this virtual machine in my private subnet to be accessible from the outside of my virtual network. Okay, so that's okay. That's just fine. Uh, let's move on. Let's go to monitoring. I don't want to change anything here. No alerts, no diagnostics, no custom data, no user data recording, and I don't want to keep any tags. So it's been submitted for final validation, and after final validation, we will create it. Okay. So let's wait for the validation results. So validation has passed. I will create it, and obviously it will also create my key. Okay, so I will download this new key pair to access my virtual machine. So okay, let me download this new key pair, and its name is private VM underscore key. So save as. I will save it in my download folder. Uh, so here it goes. Okay, so now I have created another VM in my um, uh, private subnet. So deployment is in progress. Let's wait for a while. Okay, we are done. We're almost there. Okay, here we go. So now what I'll do is I'll go to this VM. So we can go to this virtual machine that we have just created. Yeah, so here you can see we have a public VM which we deployed now, a public network, and then we have a private VM which we deployed in a private subnet. Okay, so if we go there and we have a look at this VM, so you can clearly see that it has not been assigned any IP address. Okay, unlike the virtual machine that we created in our public subnet. So if I go to connect and here, so here I can see, there is the IP address that is assigned to this machine is a local IP address, a private IP address with the strings, again the range that we defined for this private subnet, which is 10.0.2.4, and this is how I can connect to this uh, remote key. Okay, so now I can copy the content of my. Uh, I will try to open the key provided by my virtual machine in my private subnet and try to copy the key from here in my public virtual machine, my public subnet. So let's do it. So okay, I'm here. Let me go to the processor folder. Documents download. So here is here we have this private key. So now I would like to I would like to copy my key from here. All right. And so it's private dash v underscore key. So it will open the content of my key. So first of all, um, I have to I have to create a key with a similar. empty key there in my the virtual machine in public networks, and then I'll copy these contents here. So let's create a copy here. So what this will do is it will create a copy of, it will create an empty key with this name private dash VM underscore key, right? So now I will open this, you know, uh, I will open this key and will copy the content here in this case. Okay? So open key here, right? So and I'll go to the other shell and I will copy the contents from it. Right. So let's copy. Oops. Okay. So I'll copy and I'll paste it here. And um, I will end it by writing and saving. Okay. So colon W and Q, which will write and save. Press enter. So now what I have done is I have copied the contents of my key for the private for the virtual machine in the private subnet um, into my public virtual machine in my public subnet. So here we go. So I need to check the permissions of this key. So let's check the permission. I don't need this anymore. So let's go. Let's check the permissions. So let's delete the key, remove the key. So at the moment, its permission is both read and write. I need to change it. So that I will use this command change mark for enable. This will only enable read, and I need to get the name of the key. Okay, and I'll again check this permission is right. That's good to go. Okay. So what I've done is I have copied my key from my the key given by my virtual machine in private subnet into my virtual machine in public subnet, and now I try to access it. So I'll copy this criteria. This I will copy this command, shell command, SSH command, and I'll go to my shell. Okay, I'll go here. So now uh, I need to provide the key here. So my key is private, right? So uh, it should be hopefully allow me to, yeah. So you can clearly see now here I have my private VM, and look at the address of this private VM. The address of this private VM is 10.0.2.4, right? And here we have this Azure user private VM. And if we go back, so before running this SSH command to connect to my virtual machine in private subnet through my public subnet, I was here, right? So in my public network. So this is one way, to connect to a resource in my resource such as virtual machine, it can be anything else in my private subnet to my virtual machine in my public subnet. Okay, so this is one way to do it, but there is another. So if I go back to this uh, if I go back to this private VNet, so and I go to connect, so you can sorry, so you can see here we have this connect via Bastion. Okay, so this is the Bastion service provided by the Azure, and it is also provided by the other cloud providers as well. So here I will be using this SS private key from local file. I will select this. I know the username is Azure user. You can see this is our name. Verify from this, so you can see our name here, which is Azure user. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go back to this Azure user, and I need to select the file. Go to my downloads folder, and this is my private VM key. Okay, so I will provide this VM key, and I will. So in this way, we'll be able to connect to our, yeah. So you can see that in this way, we are able to connect to our private virtual machine in our private subnet. So here again, you can see that now I'm not trying to connect to this private virtual machine um, through through my virtual machine in public subnet, but in fact here I'm using this my my user is able to connect to this uh, you know virtual machine directly. Thank you.